What's good, everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we're reacting to viral TikTok life hacks that actually work. To understand what a viral life hack is, for those that don't know, which would be kind of confusing considering it's pretty much a legit thing that everyone sees these days. A life hack is basically to do something basically easier, like cutting fruits and getting certain pieces of said fruit and whatnot. Basically, things to make things easier, like get rid of the leaf part and the stem that's in a strawberry, or one that's in an apple, or something like that. Those are good examples of a life hack. And man, good thing I remember the volume. But yeah, that is basically what's going on here. So I hope you all enjoyed this reaction video. If you do, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button to support the channel, support the content provided, and so on and so forth. Hit the notification button to be notified immediately when a new video comes out. The link to this video will be down in the description, so if you want to see this video yourself before I react to it, go ahead, look in the description, and then come right back to see my reaction. Other than that, if you have any videos you would like to recommend that I should react to, put it down in the comment section below, and I'll react to them as soon as possible. Now, with this all said, let's start this video.
Does peeling an apple with the power drill genuinely work? Man, could dropping an egg into a pan really be the way to get a perfect crack every time? Well, according to a lot of folks on TikTok, yes. Today, I'm going to put these claims to the test alongside all sorts of other wacky-seeming life hacks from the world of TikTok. And trust me, you're going to be surprised at how many of these not only actually work, but are a full-blown game changer. From tech tips to cooking tricks, all tested and demonstrated by yours truly, let's check out the viral TikTok hacks that actually work. So for this video, I've taken the liberty of trawling through the endless tide of nonsense and deception on TikTok to find life hacks that really work, which I'll be demonstrating for you today. Spoiler alert, sultry hand reveal incoming. But on to some ground rules. Since no two hacks are made equally, I'll be awarding each one a score out of 5 in my handy little Be Amazed-o-meter, 5 being the best and 1 being the worst. But ultimately, it's up to you whether you think a hack is worth your while. So
Alright, that's a fair assumption and way to go about this. Going for the hacks that really interests one person is a fair way to go about it. I mean, we might find something that we believe is a better hack than what he believes is a good one, so it makes sense, and it is a fair warning, because people do get angry when, you know, it comes to the subject. Yeah.
So be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments as we go. Now, without further ado, let's dive in. Psst, I've got a secret. Want to know a cheat code for instant pomegranate juice courtesy of TikTok? Well, apparently, you just grab a giant syringe, fill it with pomegranate seeds, and squeeze. I honestly didn't think this one would actually work, but with a little elbow grease, well, see for yourself.
Oh!
As you can see, it works pretty much perfectly. Be that as it may, hacks should make your life easier, and with ready-made pomegranate juice available at most retailers, I can't help but think this is a bit of a gimmick. Still, it does work and is incredibly fun, even if you don't get a huge amount of liquid. So for that reason,
2?
this gets a 4 out of 5 from me.
Oh.
On to the next.
I give it a 2 or
Did
3.
you know you've probably been using ketchup?
I give it 2 or 3. While it's a great hack, it's not really one that I would go on my way doing every single time. But it's not bad. But it's not good. I mean, you don't get a lot, but you get something out of it. So that's like middle ground for me. That's honestly a 3.
Ketchup wrong? That is, at least according to this TikTok hack, which claims the best way to get Heinz ketchup out of a glass bottle isn't to vigorously shake and spank its bottom, but to karate chop the little 57 at the base of the bottle's neck. This apparently is a pressure point, which will shake the inside liquid loose at the perfect low pressure angle for an easy flow of ketchup. Now, of course, being a black belt in karate, I put my lethal chops to good use, and sure enough, this hack worked perfectly. Once again, proving there's no problem that a karate chop cannot solve, except for maybe your boss. All in all, though, 5 out of 5 hack. Similarly, you may...
4.5. I give it 4.5. It's helpful, it's useful, but I don't use ketchup a lot on a lot of stuff with this I eat, so. But it would help for others. So yeah, giving it 4.5.
You may also have been pouring your juice wrong. That sounds crazy, but it turns out there actually is a right and wrong way of dispensing your OJ. Like most people, I'm sure you pour the juice straight out of the carton and it probably looks something like this. However, as you can see, this causes juice to glug its way out, which can cause unsolicited splashback. So how do you avoid this? Well, according to TikTok, it's simple. Just turn the carton upside down. Let's try it for ourselves, shall we?
What? Oh.
As you can see, with just a little alteration, the juice effortlessly flows out. The reason why is actually pretty fascinating too. When pouring the usual way, the weight of the liquid inside the carton forces it out of the spout as quick as it can, leaving little room for air to escape the hole, creating a tsunami of choppy liquid. Flipping the carton upside down creates a gap in the spout that lets air flow in and out as the liquid pours, keeping the pressure smooth and neutral. And the liquid flowing perfectly. Smells like another 5 out of 5 hack to me.
Actually, that is a 5. I did not know that. That is very helpful. That will help with the whole situation evolving, making sure that I don't use too much of either juice or milk. Honestly, giving that a definite 5 as well.
Up next, let's crack open an egg-based piece of ingenuity. If you've ever tried to separate an egg yolk from the egg white, you'll know just how slippery those suckers can be. Shucks, if only there was a viral TikTok life hack that could make separating egg yolks a breeze. Oh wait, there is.
What?
As seen on the old Tickety Talk, simply rub your fingers on a clove of garlic and yoink that yolk right out of there.
Garlic.
Simple enough, but just how well does it actually work? Let's give it a try. I cracked my egg into a bowl and rubbed a clove of chopped garlic onto my fingertips. What this essentially did was make my fingers sticky thanks to allicin, which, FYI, is a sulfur-containing chemical in garlic that not only makes it sticky, but stinky too. But once I'd lathered my digits in garlic, tragedy struck. The yolk split. I suspected that perhaps my fingers just weren't sticky enough, so I gave them yet another copious seasoning of eau de garlic. Though regrettably, my yolk yoinking still leaving nothing but a mess. So, I decided to chop the garlic more finely, hoping it would release more of the sticky chemicals required to grip the yolk. I went in with more of a scoop action, which, well, not exactly true to the original TikTok hack, did seem to do the trick. So, what's the secret to pulling this off more smoothly? Well, after diving a little deeper, I found that while the chemicals in garlic do increase the level of friction between your fingers and the yolk, pulling the yolk out without breaking it really depends on the quality of the egg. You see, egg yolks have something called a vitelline membrane. This, essentially, is a multi-layered structure that protects the egg yolk and keeps it separate from the egg white. A healthier, fresher egg will have a thicker vitelline membrane, enabling its yolk to be picked up with a lower chance of bursting. With that in mind, I'm afraid my Be Amazed-o-meter will be awarding this hack a measly 2 out of 5.
I give it a 4.
Does the hack work? In certain circumstances, yes.
I give it a 4. I mean, you need the proper research, but it's still a helpful thing. You don't know how many problems I have with egg yolk. Honestly, this helps. I honestly give it a 4.
Is it simple and convenient? No. More importantly, though, does anyone know a life hack to get the stench of garlic off my fingers?
That's
Never
why I'm giving
fear,
it a 4,
though,
not
for I
5.
have another egg yolk separating hack that I promise is much easier and less smelly. According to the TikTok hack, all you need to do is grab an empty plastic water bottle, squeeze the air out, and place it over the yolk. As you release your squeeze, the bottle will replicate a vacuum and suck the yolk up, seamlessly separating it from the white. And after putting this to the Be Amazed test, I can proudly confirm it works incredibly well. I mean, just look at that pop. Considering its practicality and ease of use, this is definitely a 5 out of 5 hack that you want to keep in your egg basket.
Okay, I give the previous one 3.5 out of 5. Well, this one is definitely a 5, because that one does look more easy. Actually, I give the previous one a 3. Previous one a 3, this one a 5. If you can make a miracle like that happen with just a simple water bottle, you got my vote.
Yolks aside, I have one last extraordinary life hack that'll give you the perfect crack every time. And the solution may have been hiding in plain sight. Yep, apparently you can get the perfect crack with no tiny loose shell fragments by simply dropping your egg into the pan. That's it. No tools, no real technique, just drop. So let's see how this pans out. Now, admittedly, it did take a few attempts. But then, just as I thought all my hopes had withered away, the moment finally came. The egg cracked with no shell fragments. A solitary tear rolled down my cheek, and in that moment, it seemed as if my life finally had meaning. "Look out, world, I'm your egg lord," I yelled in a rush of adrenaline. Sorry about that. I may have gotten a little carried away. No, well, of course the hack did eventually work. I wasted 4 eggs in its pursuit. So my Be Amazed-o-meter with regret is awarding it a 1 out of 5. Seems to me this is more of a...
Yeah, it's more of a gamble than anything else. That's why I'm agreeing with 1. Because the amount of eggs he has to use just to get 1, that's like every 5 or so eggs to get the right one. If not more. It's literally gambling, dropping an egg and praying that it actually cracks open the right way. Why would you want to do that? That makes no sense to me. No, this is a 1.
A game of luck than a hack. It also turns out that the grocery store doesn't accept returns on completely obliterated eggs. While apple skin is a powerhouse of vitamins and minerals, namely vitamins A, C, K, potassium, and calcium, many prefer their
Okay.
Granny Smiths and Pink Ladies peeled. Still, peeling can be a relatively arduous process, so it's just as well that I have a life hack that'll solve all your peeling problems.
Ooh.
Pretty cool, right? Word on TikTok is that if you attach your apple to a drill and hold a peeler up to it, it'll be skinless in no time. So, I tried it out. Now, as you can see, my first attempts didn't go so well. But I wasn't about to give up that easily. So, after considering that perhaps my peeler might have been blunt, I grabbed a new one. It took a little work, but it eventually started to gain traction and somewhat peel the apple, though not exactly with the same ease of the original TikTok. Now, you may have spotted something that took me a while to pick up on, and I'm ashamed to admit. Many of the most successful TikToks on this topic don't actually use regular drill bits. They use flathead wide bits that afford a way better grip inside the apple. So after getting my hands on one, the hack seemed to be way more effective, and I could press the peeler more firmly against the surface without the drill slipping inside. Sure, the execution still wasn't super smooth, but after a few trials and errors, I seemed to get the hang of it. Ultimately, I'm giving this hack a 3 out of 5 rating, as it has the potential to be extremely efficient to peel your apples. Alternatively, you can...
And fair. That's a fair assumption, I guess. I give it a 4. It's creative, it's simple. The only things I have problems with is it's gonna take a bit of time just to do it and be a natural at it. And the fact that you're gonna have to clean the drill bit. But that part's actually easy. In all honesty.
You could
Just to
be
practice.
a big boy and eat your apples with the peel. Now, if you, like me, have accidentally peeled a stupid amount of apples due to the fun drill hack, then you'll be pleased to know there's a simple way to preserve them. It's no secret that an exposed apple will go from white and juicy to brown and dry in no time. But why is this? Well, it's actually due to enzymes in the apple that, when exposed to air, convert chemicals known as polyphenols into melanin, which, similar to melanin's role in human skin, causes the apple to brown. But, as I learned from TikTok and tested myself, with just salt and water, you can keep apples fresh and juicy for hours. How so? Well, salt water's sodium content acts as a natural preservative, and once apple slices are coated in it, they're given additional protection from oxygen, even when removed from the saltwater bath. As a result, less drying and browning occurs. Better yet, I tried and can confirm the apples don't even taste like salt either, earning this TikTok hack a 5 out of 5. Moving on, here's a hack that
That is actually really helpful, really unique. Its preservatives are, for the apples, are really solid. And it's very simple and easy to do, that you can essentially just grab some of the stuff that's in, they use for cooking, such as the salt, and get water easily, and get a container and all that for cooking, and just bam. It's so easy, so simple, that it does actually deserve a 5. It's perfect. And you don't have to worry about the taste or the quality of the apples, because it actually saves it. Who knew?
I'm sure you'll thank me for later. Picture this. You're kicking back, watching some TV, when you realize the remote batteries are dead. In your desperate search for batteries, you scavenge through the assorted scrap cabinet in your kitchen, but can only find batteries that are too small. Will you admit defeat and spend the rest of the evening living like an Amish person, or will you embrace TikTok's wacky solution? See, TikTokers claim if you have a battery that's too small for your remote, you can just place it in the remote anyway and bridge the gap with a small amount of foil. As you can see, I tested and can confirm your remote will be up and running again in a zap. Now, given the low amp rating and voltage of TV remotes, this isn't the most dangerous thing in the world, but it's typically not a great idea to get creative with consumer electronics. So I personally would only use this on a short-term emergency basis, just to be safe. Still, great to know, right? Yet another 5 out of 5 I hereby declare.
I mean, not wrong. Seems like a solid idea. And it only really sounds like something I would probably do on a remote than on something like a controller or anything like that. Because I'd rather it be a remote that can be easily replaced or get a universal remote than to deal with that kind of nonsense. But yeah, seems very helpful.
The term phone hacking might evoke feelings of paranoia and fear. But fear not. The phone hacks I'm about to jailbreak out from the tough streets of TikTok will only make life better. Say you're reorganizing your apps on an iPhone and you want to move a bunch of them from one page to another. Going back and forth to grab each app individually can be a tedious process. But really, all you have to do is hold on to one of the apps you want to move whilst simultaneously selecting the other ones you want to move to. As you do, all these selected apps will flock together, allowing you to move them all in one go. Pretty neat, huh? Be amazed, O-Meter.
I didn't know that. Wow, that's actually really cool. And this is just simple and easy like that, right? Amazing.
Show me a 5.
Let's give it up for a 5.
Another handy iPhone tip here for you, courtesy of the talkers. If you've ever taken a screenshot and want to annotate it, you'll know how difficult it can be to draw neatly with your finger on such a small screen. So it's just as well that whilst drawing shapes and arrows, you can hold your finger on the screen afterwards, which will transform your annotations into uniform shapes.
No. No way.
Magic, huh? Although, is it just me or does that circle look pretty familiar? Okay, so, well, the iPhone 5S first introduced Touch ID and the iPhone 10 Face ID, it still isn't possible to unlock your phone with just your voice. Or so I thought, until once again TikTok proved me wrong with a super weird little trick. What I'm about to show you will allow you to command your phone to unlock with just your voice. Please unlock my phone.
What the
First,
heck?
start by marking your passcode with something temporary, for example, lip balm or gloss. Then, go into Settings, Accessibility, and flip the voice control switch on. After that, go to Customize Commands and type out a new command, such as, Please unlock my phone. Next, select Action, and then Run Custom Gesture. Here's where the passcode marking comes in. You're then going to want to retrace your passcode using the markings and then click Save. All that's left to do is lock your phone, swipe up to the passcode page, say, Please unlock my phone, and watch as the magic happens. This causes the screen to automate the touch response it would have received from you entering your passcode, and therefore allows you to unlock it without touching it at all. Now, while this hack definitely works, I can't help but think Face ID or typing your passcode is much quicker and easier. You still have to swipe up to the passcode page in order for this to work. so it isn't truly exclusively voice controlled. And that said, it does technically work, and it feels pretty cool, so I'm going to give it a solid 4 out of 5. Moving on.
Fair.
Typically, when I get out of the shower, I like to wear my birthday suit. Though, if you choose modesty over comfort and wear a towel, then there's a nifty hack for you. Fresh off the shelves of a TikTok trend.
That's interesting.
The trick is not to tuck your towel, as I'm sure most of us do, but to actually roll it down instead. With this slight, sturdy adjustment, you'll be unstoppable. Run a marathon? No problem. Climb a mountain? You got it. All with no slippage. If that's not a 5 out of 5, then I don't know what is. And
I give it a
while we're on
5.
the topic of folding, here's a TikTok trickaroo that'll have your teeth.
I definitely would give it a 5. That seems interesting, simple, and it actually does up with the whole towel situation that one would have when they need to get from one place to another outside of the bathroom.
Shirt's neat and tidy in a flash.
What the heck?
Pretty handy, huh? Now, I will admit, in my experience, it takes a little bit of practice to replicate, but once you get the hang of it, t-shirt folding is a breeze. All it takes is grabbing in these 2 spots, folding the top spot over the lower point, grabbing the bottom edge, and yanking it all together like some kind of fashion magician. One thing's for sure, it beats my current system, which I like to call a floor drobe. Either way, it's another 5 out of 5 from me. Still on the topic of clothing, up next is a life hack you might literally want.
4. I give it a 4. It helps and has a reasonable amount of time, but it's not amazing to me. It's not gonna make me go, oh wow, and all that. But it's a solid 5.
Save for a rainy day.
4.
Yep, turns out you can easily make canvas shoes waterproof with a simple DIY hack that's trending on TikTok. The squelch of a damp shoe is certainly unpleasant, but that can be completely avoided with nothing more than beeswax and a hairdryer.
Excuse me?
All you have to do is rub beeswax onto your shoes, set it in a place with a heated blow dryer, and then watch as water seamlessly glides away without a trace. Beeswax's natural water-repelling properties make this a genuinely impressive protective barrier that's simple, cheap, and effective. What more could you want? It's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
one last hack for your clothes, should you need to repair any of them.
Yeah, that one deserved a 5. Anything that could protect my shoes and not make them squishy and wet on the inside deserves a 5.
TikTok claims that you can easily perform the tricky task of threading a needle using only a toothbrush. According to a viral trend, all you have to do is simply place a thread over the toothbrush and push the needle through the thread and into the bristles. As a result, your needle will be threaded in a flash. Now, having tried this myself, I can confirm that it is nowhere near as easy as it looks.
I am sorry about that. Do not know what happened there. Really don't.
As you can see, it seemed the needle was just hopelessly pushing the thread down into the toothbrush without catching it. But after a lot of trial and error, not to mention a teeny little mental breakdown, it finally worked. That said, the time it took to work, I could have threaded about 100 needles quicker using more traditional methods. This really is a case of so-called life hack looks super easy on video and makes for a great thumbnail, but kinda sucks in reality. So I'm afraid it's a 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
Chicken breast
I can't
is
agree.
a lean protein machine, which is of course essential if you want to be a strapping hunk like me. However, we all know how unappetizing the grisly tendons inside can be. So here's a TikTok hack to say sayonara to those sinewy little rascals. Apparently, you just need to place the tendon between a fork's prongs, grab it with a paper towel, and quickly yank it through the fork, removing the entire tendon. That's all good and well, but is it really as easy as it looks? After all, lots of these TikTok life hacks tend to just rely on capturing one good take rather than being repeatably useful, so I put it to the test. I got my hands on some chicken breasts, got a hold of the tendon, and got to yanking. Lo and behold, it really worked. And while there is certainly a knack to it, as you can see with me failing a few times, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty satisfying. I'm giving this hack a 4 out of 5, as despite its very
fair, it takes a lot of effort and practice just to get it right, so I guess that's the 4.
Great success, it's something I'll be incorporating into my everyday life. Yoink! Now, something else you might consider yoinking into your everyday life is Be Amazed! Regular fun and factual content. What more could you want? So go ahead, tickle those like and subscribe buttons and leave me a comment down below. Now, let's get back to some tickety-tockety-tippity-toppity life hacks. Chopping fruit and veggies isn't always the easiest, especially if you have 2 left hands like me. I mean, just looking at this TikToker's majestic cucumber spiral might seem daunting, but it can actually be done relatively easily thanks to this next hack. As per several viral TikTok vids, I placed my cucumber between 2 chopsticks and began by chopping into it at a very slight angle, being mindful not to chop all the way through. I then did the same on the flip side, but cut straight. Now, I will admit it did take me a few attempts, as those 2 left hands of mine made it pretty difficult to avoid chopping the halves separately without cutting the whole way through. However, just as my patience had worn thin, not to mention my supply of cucumbers, it seemed the cucumber gods finally decided to bestow me with one of their beautiful spiraled offerings. Never had I experienced a greater presence of beauty in all my years. It could make a grown man cry. Anyway, back to reality. This hack was undoubtedly difficult to achieve and wasn't the most intuitive, at least for me. Not to mention, there's the question of why do you really want to do this? So, it's for that reason I'm afraid it's a 3 out of 5 from me.
Fair.
But, on to some more life hacks to sharpen your fruit chopping chops, and I gotta say, I honestly love this next one. Here's the TikTok clip in question, which shows you can extract a watermelon's flesh ready for slicing into bite-sized pieces using only an empty Pringles tube. Seems too good to be true, but incredibly, it really works, and here is my proof. see, the whole Pringles tube usage isn't quite as smooth as portrayed in many of the original TikToks, but on a whole, the hack did in fact work. Now that said, it wasn't super easy, quick, or convenient, so it's looking like a semi-respectable 3 out of 5 on the Be Amazed-O-meter. But if you're in the mood to pry the guts out of more fruits, so take a look at this next TikTok.
I would give it a grade higher, but it's a fair one. It's a fair one.
Tizer. Simply take a straw and push it through the center of a strawberry, and you'll be left with a satisfying, seamless straw. And what I will say is, after trying this myself, it can be pretty difficult to gauge where exactly the center of a strawberry is. As you can see, I had a few missed shots. That said, once you get the hang of it, it is incredibly satisfying. All in all, this hack lands a 4 on the Be Amazed-O-meter purely for how fun it is to do.
Fair.
On to a little snack now, and according to TikTok, there's a little known, super easy, and super cool looking way to use cheese in a can on your crackers. Rather than squeezing it on top like an amateur, this hack suggests you wedge your crackers onto the nozzle and watch as the cheese piles up perfectly in a circle. Or so that's the idea. Now, when I tried this, I was initially hopeful, but as you can see, it seemed to create just a messy mound of cheese, as opposed to an aesthetic swirl. And well, through numerous attempts, I found that the idea behind this hack somewhat works. The execution, at least in my experience, was a bit of a fail. So, given how easy it is by comparison to just squirt cheese directly on the cracker, I'm afraid this hack gets a 1 out of 5. Now, the taste of cheese and crackers, on the other hand, a strong 5 out of 5. As the great Vanilla Ice once said, stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention, or rather, per today's video theme, TikTok's back with some brand new Ice life hacks.
What? Oh!
Are you as mind blown as I was to find that ice can instantly stop a pan from boiling over? It probably seems pretty obvious now that I mention it, as, of course, a chili ice cube will lower the overall temp of the water and reduce the boiling, but it's something I'd never really considered doing until now. As you can see, it does the trick perfectly, earning it a strong 5 out of 5. But here's a freebie. Not only can ice prevent your pan from boiling over, it also does a great job of keeping your cereal nice and crunchy. Due to the fact that materials tend to dissolve slower in cold water, and cereal growing soggy is essentially a very slow dissolving process, adding ice to your cereal means that it will stay crunchy for longer. Now, you can even use frozen cubes of milk to avoid diluting the milk with water if you want to get real fancy. I only tried regular ice cubes, but I can definitely confirm the long-lasting crunch factor with a secure 5 out of 5 Be Amazed-O-meter rating from me. More interesting.
I would give it a 5 too.
Did you know that?
Do you know how bad it is to have to repeatedly try soggy cereal? Ugh. Well, this works, and I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Crunchy cereal.
That ice can be pretty useful if you happen to get some gum stuck to your clothing. At least that's what TikTokers are claiming. But is it legit? I tried to find out. We all know how when gum gets stuck to clothing, pulling it off can be a sticky, stringy nightmare.
Yes.
But if you just compress ice over the area for a few moments, it actually will freeze the gum to some extent, hardening it up and allowing it to be pulled off without any stringiness or stickiness. Now, as you'll see, it didn't come off super seamlessly for me, but after a little more ice pressing, we got there in the end. Honestly, in a pinch, this hack could be a real lifesaver, or rather, clothes saver. So it's another 5 out of 5. Ice, baby. And that, folks, is all from me to...
One, that's a terrifying title. But two, these are some interesting life hacks that I believe are really cool and really interesting to see. And I really do like them. Simple, clean, get to the point more times than not. Though they have failed here and there in this video, this is still an interesting one. So I hope that you all like this video, and if you do, hit the like button down below. Tell me which was your favorite life hack that was shown here. There's so many good ones, but I kind of like the fact how at the end of getting rid of gum on clothing, you don't know how much of a issue that is until you have someone that you know have that problem more times than not. But yeah, with this said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Be sure to give BMA some love and support for the video he made. And with this all said, I hope you all enjoy once again, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!